hanging glute ham walkout marches. Now I'll show you a little bit of a way to spice it up, but first we get locked down, ribs, shoulders down, glutes clenched, and then really almost kind of recline yourself a bit. Lock yourself down. I'm gonna do an exhale, inhale back, both legs. So I march with the bent knee position, then I walk out to the straight-legged position, and then I do the same thing, but now legs are straight. Really smoking the glutes and hamstrings, obviously whole backside's active. Walk it back. Now I can increase the challenge by adding a row in each component. Such a great way to warm up everything in the body here. Get such great posterior chain work, okay? I could have rowed first, or I could row now, and then I walk it back slowly and repeat for time, okay? Have some fun. Great way to start the workout. Rest, pause as needed. But look, we're getting ready for one hell of a push here. The pull-up runner is the best grip exercise for your abs and hip flexors. What we're gonna do here is, and again, I'm gonna show on both a door option and a typical pull-up bar setup, and just remind you on grip. Neutral is the most joint friendly, it's the easiest one, and underhand is gonna challenge your mobility more, but it also kind of puts you in a stronger position, especially with the flexed arm. Overhand is the hardest, especially when you go wide, so pay attention to that. Let's just go with a neutral grip here, and what you'll notice is because of where my feet are, and this is how you regress the exercise, you'll basically go to so here's a stretched hang, here's an active hang. Pull it down, and what I'll do is, I basically kind of just self-assist. So I can go here, here, and modify with this runner. So it allows me to kind of get the end range of the exercise. I'm not getting as much of a stretch, I'm also not fully hanging. So it's still a challenge, but it's a good place to start. Now, the one thing you'll notice here is because of the nature of my bar, I can do this properly with the arms straight, where I go from, see the 90-degree angles on my legs? I'll exhale one way, inhale the other. Doesn't matter which one. Look at my toes too. I'm pulling them back to the shin. Working my shin muscles. All right, now if I want to increase the challenge or I need to create space from the floor, do a flexed hang with the arms at 90 degrees. And now, what's happening to my arms and my back? They're getting smoked extra because of that. I could also start flexed and back off to the extended hang as I fatigue. And again, on a typical bar, same concept. All right, and on this one, I do have to, do it from a flex hang, otherwise my feet will hit the floor. But go slow, focus on trying to get the knee above hip level. That's what maximizes psoas activation, okay? There's iliacus, there's rectus femoris. Those are key quad muscles, hip flexor muscles that are getting worked. But if you don't get that knee above 90, we don't get the psoas. And the psoas muscle is critical for low back health, all right? So hit it hard. So now we're going back to that pull-up dip superset. We're getting rid of the ball, so now everything's fired up with the strength, weighted version of that. We go body weight only, now we separate the legs to work in balances between sides. So the reverse squat aspect, and I want you to think about this like it's a squat. We're working the antagonist muscles that actually pull you down into the bottom of the squat with your feet on the floor, and we're working them now against gravity. So I get locked in here, pull the shoulders down and back, legs are separated, pull up, and again, make sure they're as level as possible. You should have the knees level, toes to the shin, nothing out like this, lower in control. Okay, so they're separated, more instability, more imbalancing between sides work. I can also flex hang it to make it more challenging. Take your time to hold it and really just, when you're there too, okay, note to be here, just actively pull and really get things going. Same concept on the dip, push all the way through, enough space with the bars. And we're exhaling up, inhaling down on these. Such a good workout. And again, by working these shin and hip flexor muscles, we'll be more active in pulling ourselves down into the bottom of a squat, okay? So it really does translate into improving squat performance. Next superset, it's a reverse squat iso with leg drop. So one leg always stays up and we're alternating sides. Same thing we just worked on here, but Inhale it down, bring it right back. All right, going to the dip, same concept. Start up, and again, try to really sit back. So you could get here or you could get here. And when you're there, try to work on the separation. Down leg glute, top leg hip flexor. You can pulse a little bit too, just help make the adjustments. Okay, just really, smoking. You're gonna be dead today. All right, final dip, pull-up superset. I have to face this way to show this. You hit a pull-up and then a dip, and then you do running. All right, so you're actually now adding speed of movement, like a climber, but again, in a vertical suspended environment. So I'm gonna get here, any grip you want. Obviously, easiest grip is underhand or here. This will be a little more challenging, but you pack down. All right, I'm gonna do a pull-up, inhale down, and then I go into some runners. Now I could do a 4-4 rhythmic breathing. 4 inhale, 4 exhale, and then go right into my next sequence, or just, you can just flow on time. All right, keep those legs at 90 degrees. Same thing on the dipper, and you can kind of sync it up where you could actually kind of, you'll figure it out. Like, I don't have to tell you everything, do I? Come on, biscuits. All right, here we go. I'm locked in, so I do a dip. I'm like Uncle Dan, I got the magic legs. If I could only do a single core exercise for the rest of my life, it would be the hanging leg raise. And I'll talk about why coming up. But first of all, there's a particular setup here that makes you get so much more out of this exercise. Number one, put a medicine ball between your legs and squeeze the hell out of it. You activate the inner thigh and groin more, also the pelvic floor, all right? And that's critical because your pelvis and your lower back, they work together. The lumbar spine attaches to the pelvis. So the better our pelvic positioning, the better our spinal positioning, all right? So if you don't do that properly, you can end up hurting your lower back and not getting more core activation. Now the other piece of this, all right, this is gonna work your hip flexors and your lower abs, all right, in a serious way, especially when you talk about the range of motion we use. But anytime you get your arms overhead, it makes it super hard for your spine to stabilize. And you're working your whole upper body. This is a full body abs exercise. You understand what I'm trying to tell you right now? Look, this is the move that you want to invest in for your core long term. So we get here, and I like to actually, you got to be ready for it, but I like to actually loop the thumb over as well. It just makes it so that I keep the arms straighter and get more scapular and lat activation. But the first thing to do is, while you're here, can you, even from a passive, just can you hang and stretch and squeeze the ball? And can you feel comfortable in that position? It's actually one of my favorite things to do to actually decompress my spine and stretch my shoulders. The weight of the ball actually tractions the hips more and helps decompress the spine more as well, the weight of that. So that's just a great, anytime, anywhere mobility or warm up drill, a little side to side action. I can do some shrugs. Now, can I pack them down and back and hold that position? And if the answer is no, you're not ready to lift the legs. All right, so the goal is, with that medicine ball, at least a 30-second hang packed down to get into the exercise. Now let's get into the movement. So we're here. I'm going to inhale into my belly to the nose, and then pack down, lift up, and get the knees above hip level. That's where you get the psoas and low abs really going. Inhale down. Hold it, squeeze it. Inhale down. Now, here's an extra little tip. My all-time favorite ab workout. I start with a 30-pound med ball. I do max reps, take a brief break, move to a 20-pound ball, then a 10, and then I finish with body weight. Triple drop set, and it'll be done in 5 minutes. The best abs workout of your life, but it's also full body because I'm hanging using my whole body weight. So, and typically what I'll do is about 5 reps with the 30, maybe 10 with the 20, another 10 with the 10, and then it's 10 plus with body weight. So just to give you an idea of like all the ways you can go with this, but such a good movement. And again, the spinal health benefits are off the charts. Do it today. Four-minute finisher on this is a hanging leg raises drop set. Now I'm gonna show a bodyweight option first, but ideally you'll have 3 different medicine ball weights you can use on this, and we're gonna go from the heavy to medium to light, then we're gonna finish with body weight on a 4-minute clock. Max reps of each, and however how much time is left when you're doing the body weight, you just keep going for time, rest pausing as needed. But if you're gonna do the bodyweight only version of this, what we'll do is, we'll do as many straight leg raises as we can, then we'll drop off to as many bent knee raises as we can for the remainder of that time countdown. So here we go. Ideally, you're high enough bar that allows the legs to be straight throughout the exercise, but in this case, I have to bend them initially. I'm gonna exhale up, toes to bar, inhale back down. And then I can also modify by just doing a leg raise to here, and then after I'm fatigued on that, and we're exhaling up, inhaling down, okay? So that'll be the option there. Again, I showed you 3 really hard options, the full range, the half range, and the bent knee option. That's a drop set in and of itself mechanically. Otherwise, I'll grab this big 30-pound ball. I'll typically get between I'll always get at least 3 to 5 reps. All right, so these earlier sets might not last as long, but I come through, I'm squeezing the ball, active in my pelvic floor, exhale up, inhale down. All right, once that's done, I'll put this guy to the side, then I'll move to my 20, my 10, and then I'll finish body weight only. And one thing you'll notice too, as you go to the lighter options, the range of motion will increase because neurologically, your body was creating the force required at a heavier weight. So the lighter weight, just like you run uphill, then you run flat. Oh my God, I'm so fast. Same thing. So emphasize the range of motion as you go to the lighter weights, rest pause as needed. My favorite core exercise, the hanging leg raise. So many benefits, grip, the trunk just getting lit up, and obviously hip flexors. And when you squeeze the ball, it really is a full body effort. So awesome way to finish a workout, do the best you can if you don't have the medicine balls like I showed. And there might be like 2 minutes left or more once you get to the bodyweight option. Just high rep, keep going, rest pause briefly, 5 or 10 seconds, and just get as many reps as you can to pump it out. Now that we're warmed up, we're going into a dip pull-up superset sequence, really designed to get after the abs and the hip flexors. So start with a very light ball on this, okay? I'm going with a 10 just to show it. And even a 2-pound ball, I like the Dynamex ball that you can squeeze, and I'll talk about modifications next. What we're doing here is we get in, we're gonna squeeze the ball between the legs. Any grip you want, okay? I'm going to lock down. First do a shrug, so get all the way stretched out. Pull back as far as you can, return, then do a leg raise, get up as high as you can, knees above hip level, exhale up, inhale down on all of these, and then a pull up. And I'm gonna repeat that sequence for time. Now, can't do the whole thing, do whatever parts of it that you can. Meaning, can you do the shrug? Just do the shrug. Can you do the shrug and the leg raise? Do those two. If you can't do the pull up, skip it. Okay, so or just hold. You can also just hold for time with the ball between the legs. Now that's the pull-up version of it. The dipper, we get here. You may have to widen the bars out a bit more than usual to make space for the ball in your legs to come through on the leg raise. All right, but make sure every time you go wider, you've got to be more active with downward pressure so it doesn't tip on you. But same concept here, I get locked in, inhale down, get that good deep stretch, push up, bring the ball, and almost kind of sit back into it. And then, and repeat for time. Now, the one thing to note, when you're doing the dip, especially with the tall bars here, try to get it as close to your crotch as possible because it's gonna touch the ground and it might not get as deep of a dip as you're used to, but that's also fine because, again, it's a real core exercise. So you're still getting pretty low there, but just a note. So such a good pairing, heavy hip flexor, also amazing for the shoulder girdle.